Hey everybody, it's JL. I'll be Trump soon enough, but major announcements for the show. First off, Jay and I want to thank you for your support, for spreading the word. All our reviews, listeners, and obviously our Patreon patriots. A few things this week. We will be doing bonus episodes, but they'll be going to the regular feed after every night of the convention. So Tuesday night, Wednesday night, there will be shows uploaded that night. So that next morning you'll get Trump's analysis of the DNC each night. And on Thursday, this is for everybody, but also the Perfect 10 Patreon subscribers. We will be doing a live Q&A at 11 p.m. after the final night of the convention. So that will be open only to Perfect 10 members. But in contrast to what we've usually done, that episode will be available to everybody since we're doing this convention coverage throughout the week. We will also be doing the same thing next week, but without the live Q&A. This weekend, we'll have a bonus episode for every level of our Patreon featuring President Obama, a return visit from President Obama to discuss the conventions with President Trump. And last announcement, a reminder on August 31st to all New Jersey residents or people able to get to New Jersey, August 31st at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, our big live show, social distanced, outdoor seating, masks, touchless tickets, the whole deal. Trust me, I don't want to be there if it's not safe. So Jay and I will be there with doing our major live show. So we hope you can go to stressfactory.com to get tickets. Hopefully you can make it out there. It will be a very fun time. And I think that's it. So like I've promised on social media, a ton of bonus content coming your way. Check out the Patreon, but most importantly, please tell a friend. We're trying to sort of dominate the conventions the next 2 weeks. And if you love the episodes, you'll love these next 2 weeks, and probably some of your friends and family members will as well. So this is like our version of Sweeps Weeks. I think Jay would agree. This is our version of Sweeps Weeks. We want to go into September crushing it. So this is why we're putting in all this extra work. And we appreciate our Perfect 10 people for letting us this one time allow the episode to be heard by everybody on Thursday, even though you will still have exclusive access to the Q&A. So thank you for listening to this long announcement. And now let's get to the episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, let me first by just saying...
Well, let me tell you something. You remember that song? I think they call it a standard, where it's like, and I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling so strong, so good. Like the Democrats are about to have their failed convention, and then we're going to show up with the strongest convention anybody's ever seen, even done, kind of the virtual, not tremendous crowd way. So, I think I've been a little down. Last week I was down. We had to honor the very sad anniversary of the great Jeff Epstein's definitely not murder. And now I feel like I finally bounced back. It's like I can feel his spirit in me, giving me that joy again.
Mr. President, I was going to wish you my condolences, and I was sorry to hear about your brother Robert passing away.
Oh?
Your brother, Robert Trump, he passed away.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Weekend.
Well, oh, yes. But, it was, things happen, and, life, circle of life. You live, and then, sometimes you die, and it's okay. I think he was one of the better Trumps. He was a good sort of, but the great thing that I was able to do was golf, to get my mind off of Raymond. And I golfed.
It's Robert, Mr. President, not Raymond.
Well,
Robert and
sure. Well, okay. People have nicknames and things, but Richard he would have wanted me to move on, and we golfed. And I got to tell you,
Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
It's Robert.
Excuse me. So Raul had to go at some point. But I was golfing with the great Jay Feely, who was a great kicker for the Dolphins, and
Raul, Mr. President.
I golfed. Excuse me, you're talking over golf, and that's rude. I golfed a 74, okay, and Feely, who was a pro athlete, 78. So, it was a great day out on the course, and I remember very, very strongly. We went in, and I had a nice tea because I don't drink, and he had a gin and tonic, and we talked, about the election and our families, and it was, it was great. And I remember every score. I told Jay.
Wait, Mr. President.
No. Excuse me. I told Jay Feely, the great Jay Feely, that I remember every score from our because we've golfed many times. He was impressed. It was sort of great cognitive. I told him our score from 8 years ago when I beat him 8 years ago when he was still, more fit and more professional athlete. And he was amazed. He was amazed that I remembered that score. So it was, like I said, we're doing great things. The Democrats are going to have a horrible convention. And, golf and seeing Jay Feely was just, more than a feely. He gave me great feelies. Okay. My feelings were improved by Feely. And so it's, we respect, obviously, when a guy like Ron leaves the earth, when Ronald leaves the earth.
Mr. President, it's Robert. You just told me every single thing from your golf match, from who you played with to what you had to drink after in the clubhouse.
Iced tea, shot a 74.
You told me previous scores from 8 years ago.
Well, I didn't tell you
you said you knew them, and you told.
I know them very strongly. I'm not going to tell you, but I know them very strongly.
But you don't know your own brother's name?
Well, he's dead. I did know him. It's past tense. He's no longer with us. I think you should be more respectful of the dead. But Rex will be missed. He will be missed very strongly, and he's, from what I hear, he was a good guy.
It's Mr. President. It's Robert. Are you even sad that your brother is dead?
No, I think inside there's, very powerful sadness somewhere, but we try to be strong, and we do. You can't dwell to you can't mourn forever. It's.
Mr. President, it happened, I think, 2 days ago. He died.
No, I think it was yesterday.
He died yesterday. Mr. President, you didn't even mourn for 24 hours.
Pretty impressive. Most weak people, I'm crying, I'm sad. It's such a, excuse me, okay? My brother Ryan would have said,
It's Robert.
You've got to be strong. You're the president. Move on.
What was one of your favorite memories from your childhood with Robert?
It's actually, one time this is actually a true story. It was in his obituary.
Obituary.
Well, I wouldn't call him a bitch, but it was in his write-up that, it was in his write-up that they do in the great papers and not so great papers. But I had actually, one time when we were kids, I took some of his blocks. Remember blocks? Not blacks, okay?
No,
not those
blocks. Yes, my son plays with blocks all the time.
Well,
yes, I know.
When I was a child, I took some of his blocks and he wanted them back, and I glued them to my blocks so he couldn't have them back. That was in the newspapers today, and I thought, finally, that's not fake news. So we had a very strong relationship, and
so you bullied your brother?
No, that's called great. It's called great siblings. It's called great siblings, and I know, we had just, I think, I would say a pretty good sort of friendship, if that's what it's called.
What are you going to miss most about him?
I would say the fact that he wasn't a jealous bitch like other people in my family. Yeah, he was very obedient. He was very sort of, he deferred. They call it deferred. He just, he just stood there and was very loyal to me. And I said, it's nice. It's nice to see sometimes because you don't always get that from people. And I think he was one of the best at it. So, Reed will be missed. Reed is.
It's Robert. Do you have any great memories of him as an adult with you? I know the blocks when you were younger, and he's an obedient man. But do you have any memories of maybe from college?
Well, he
Or
wanted, I mean, I know he wanted to tag along to some of the great events I did with my father, with our father, the great Fred Trump. And, those were really between me and my father. And so I think it was nice that he never resented that he didn't get to go and sort of plow single mothers on holidays.
was Robert the ladies' man?
I mean, I'm the ladies' man. We all know that, but I think he
Right, but
didn't.
he's a Trump, so I figure it's like in your
Well,
blood.
Eric Trump is a Trump too, and he doesn't so much score with a lot of ladies. But no, I think he was he was a solid ladies' man. I think we always teased him because unlike a real Trump man, he took no for an answer, and so we called him. It's kind of funny. We called him consent. Consent. Consent Reed. We weren't as good with the nicknames then, but we always teased him that he was too into consent.
Your nickname was Consent, the wrong name of his name. That's a horrible nickname, Mr. President.
Well, I say, people always say, "Oh, you never admit you're wrong." Well, I wasn't as great at the nicknames when I was younger, but now, now I would call him, no rape Robbie, and it's a little more catchy.
Was he known for not raping people?
In our family, yes. It was always, rolling your eyes and going, "Oh, great, there goes."
There goes no
Richie,
rape Robbie.
there goes Richie, just, not aggressive enough, not a killer.
So is it no rape Richie or no rape Robbie?
Who's Robbie?
Well, Robert, I thought you were giving him like a true nickname because Robbie.
No, but we'll miss my brother Roald Dahl.
Your brother is not a children's author, Mr. President.
Well, excuse me, if you wouldn't bring up children because it makes me upset and think of the great Jeff Epstein again. That upsets me. Okay. I told you we had great golf called Golf Therapy with the great Jay Feely, and it made me feel better. And when you bring up children, it makes me think of Jeff Epstein and that wound. I don't know if it'll ever fully heal, but we just passed the anniversary of Jeff Epstein's passing, and mentioning strong children is not a great thing.
And my apologies.
Thank you.
Now, did you know your brother was in poor health?
My brother's in poor health.
Well, you're I'm sorry to laugh, but your brother is actually dead.
This is
He's not in poor health anymore.
Well, what? I don't understand the joke. So you told me he's in poor health, but now he's okay?
No, he's dead. He's dead. He's not in poor health. He actually died yesterday.
Rolando's dead?
We were just talking about him, Mr. President.
Oh.
We were talking about your brother Robert, and he died. He was sick. Now I was wondering if you knew that he was really sick.
This is reminding me. Remember La Bamba? Remember when we talked about La Bamba?
Yes,
I feel like if you're telling me my brother's dead, then I'm going to run up a hill and go, Richie!
But his name is Robert. You can't say Richie.
No, I would run up the hill just like Esai Morales. Remember Bob, the drunk brother?
Yes.
And he runs up the hill and it ends and he goes, Richie! Because remember, we talked about this on the podcast.
I know that. I understand that. But
I can't believe you're breaking this news to me. I mean.
But who did you think we were talking about this whole time who was dead?
Who's dead?
You have a brother, Robert Trump. And
well, if I have a brother, then how can he be dead?
Well, you don't have a brother anymore. He died yesterday.
I don't have a brother anymore.
I thought you knew. We were talking about this. I thought you knew that he passed away yesterday.
Well, I have great cognitive, so I'm certainly not hearing or remembering things wrongly. You, so you're telling me Ricardo is dead?
Telling you, Robert is dead. When you were playing golf with Jay Feely yesterday,
Well, Jay
remember the
Feely.
iced
Well,
tea?
right. I shot a 74. I had a nice day. I beat Jay Feely, who had a 78. What happened then?
And what is Jay Feely doing this coming weekend again?
Oh, Jay Feely. Well, no, he's going to be with his family in, I think,
Right.
Tampa. I think he
Okay.
said he has a few homes. He has a home in Miami, a home in Tampa. I think an apartment in New York City. Why? Why do you ask?
No, because you remember all the details about the golf game and about Jay Feely's life,
Well, you've got to remember strong, important things.
but your brother is dead. Robert is dead.
You, I can't believe you're telling me like this.
But I thought you knew already. I thought we were talking about it the whole time. Who did you think was dead that I was talking about?
I thought you were joking.
Why why would I joke about
Like
that?
dark, it's called dark humor. I thought you were. So you're telling me Regis Philbin is dead?
Well, yes, Regis Philbin died a couple of weeks ago.
I can't believe you're just telling me. So okay, well there it is. You've ruined my mood. We finally understand each other. The great Regis Philbin, who by the way was a big fan of mine, he told me to run for president. Remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I told him he should do Who Wants to Be a Billionaire, and they could have me host. I I don't know if we can care. So you're telling me Regis Philbin is dead?
But I'm also, yes,
Well,
Regis is dead, but I'm,
show him respect. Excuse me. Regis Philbin was one of our great TV people. Show him. You're skipping him. Show respect. The great Regis Philbin has passed. I think we should honor that. And it's just too much death. We had the great Jeff Epstein anniversary. Now we have Regis Philbin. It's we're dealing with tough times in this country, but I'll get through it. But I can't. Regis Philbin, I didn't see that. I thought he was like one of those people you thought would never, so talented and so tough. You didn't think he would ever go.
but also besides Regis, I know you're torn up about Regis, but also your brother, Robert Trump, passed away yesterday. I'm not joking about that. I thought you knew.
You keep saying my brother Rob. We're talking about right? We just agreed we were talking about Regis. You're throwing out so many names.
Both people
I
are
thought
dead.
we were talking about Regis Philbin.
Yes, we were, but I'm saying before that, I was talking about your brother Robert Trump, and I wasn't joking about that.
So you're telling me Reese is dead?
Robert is dead.
Robert who?
Robert Trump, your brother.
That's the same last name as me.
I know.
Well, it's people always come at they'll say, "Oh, Tiffany Trump, this is your daughter." I go, just because there's a lot of Trumps, it doesn't. People will
We were
change their
talking
name
about
to
his
Trump.
obituary and that you glued his blocks together. Remember, you took his blocks and you glued them together when you were younger.
Who told you that? That's sort of private family stuff.
Well, it was in the obituary about your brother. It was written in there. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, because there's obviously sort of not the greatest communication tonight on the podcast. So, it might be we might have to, say your career is dead after this show, because it's been, this is a horrible way to start a show. You bring up kids, which makes me upset about Jeff Epstein, the great Jeff Epstein, rest in power. Then we get on to Regis Philbin, and you sort of can't wait to move off. He's a TV legend, and he passed away. This is news to me. And you sort of move past him, and you mention all these other people. And I think it's just it's a sad tone for the show. I don't think the people want to hear this.
Well, Mr. President, speaking of Regis, and he hosted that show, You Want to Be a Millionaire? Well, other people out there would like to be a millionaire or even a billionaire like you, Mr. President. And that's why
my brother Robert was a billionaire.
Was he? Well, did he bet on sports with betonline.ag?
I'll have to ask him.
You can't ask him. He's dead, Mr. President. But you out there can bet on sports with betonline.ag. We have UFC, NASCAR, soccer, NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs coming up, baseball. So many sports to bet on right now. So use our wagering partner, betonline.ag. Like I said, we have baseball finally started. Everything's in full swing, so you can bet on all the sports. BetOnline has all the odds, futures, and props for you to bet on. And as sports starts to return, BetOnline has a cool feature. What they did is they sat down, again, with Eddie George from the NFL, Robert Horry, seven-time NBA champ, and Harold Reynolds from Major League Baseball to get their opinions on what we call, it's called Fandemic, playing without the fans. Mr. President, how would you feel if you went to your inauguration and there were just no fans there?
Well, my brother Robert would be there at least, so that would give me strength to carry on.
What a special man. Well, it's crazy with all these sports with no fans, but visit betonline.ag, check out the video, and check out all the odds and up-to-date sports betting and news. Don't forget to sign up and take advantage of all the welcome back to sports bonuses. That's right. Also, if you're a casino guy, you can bet on poker, blackjack. So you can even bet on politics. You can bet on President Trump winning again, or we could bet on Joe Biden. Who knows? But BetOnline, your online wagering experts, betonline.ag. Now, Mr. President, I am sorry about your brother Robert, and I don't want to get you so down. So if we can, is that all right if we move on to our next topic?
I mean, you can't do worse than what you just did for the last however many minutes. That was one of our most disgraceful segments ever.
Sorry. Mr. President, mail-in voting. You were very against it.
So strongly against it. It's people trying to steal the election. They want to destroy our country. They want to take the election from me by doing fraud, mail-in fraud voting.
Why would it work in your favor? Why would it only work in the Democrats' favor?
Well, I'm very strong. I'm a very strong, honest person. These Democrats, they're total liars.
Right, but if it seems like anyone can cheat, you're worried about you're going to the extent of actually removing mailboxes from neighborhoods. Is that true?
Well, for terrorism, people like to hide things in the mailboxes. They're sort of dangerous. Nobody ever talks about that. And, we're removing sort of some of the equipment because we don't want people to vote by mail. We want them to stand in line very strongly and support whoever they want to support, even if it's, Sleepy Joe, which obviously only stupid people would do.
Mr. President, you don't think it looks crooked or shady that you're taking mailboxes from neighborhoods?
How can
especially
it look,
in blue states?
Excuse me. How can it look crooked when there was crooked Hillary?
Well, it can only be one crooked person. There could be many crooked people. There could be crooked Trump. There could be a nickname.
First of all, Trump is the opposite of crooked.
Okay.
And it's crooked Hillary.
Right, I understand. So I won't say crooked. So don't you think it's shady that you are taking mailboxes from lots of blue states and where Democrats will have to go in and vote, especially older people?
The Democrats started the KKK. It was they who started it, so they're a very dishonest party.
Is that factual information?
No, they started the KKK. The Democrats used to, they were pro-slavery, and then all of a sudden, in the 60s, they, decided to like the blacks, and all of a sudden the blacks decided that, oh, these guys are nice to us, so we'll vote for them. Total mistake. And, they left us because, we like the Confederate statues now. So the blacks left us. but it was a big trick. The Democrats were pro-slavery in 1870 and 1860 and 1880. And I think they've just been pretending for about 70 years to be pro-black, and they're waiting for the right time. And then all of a sudden they're going to decide we're still pro-slavery. And the African Americans.
What, they're just going to come out in
for
blackface or something? How are they going to announce it?
we're looking into it. They probably have a lot of different ways they'll announce it. But I think, just because, it was in the 1880s doesn't mean they can't bring it back now. And that's why you should support the Republicans. Lincoln was a Republican. Not everybody, most people don't know that. Lincoln was a Republican.
Well, people know that.
Right. And so I'm basically like the better Lincoln.
Is that what your platform you're running on this year, the better Lincoln?
Well, Lincoln, freed them sort of, but didn't give them great jobs. And I gave them great jobs, so I'm better than Lincoln.
Well, I'm saying right now there's a lot of racial tension in our country, just like when Lincoln was around, except it's very different. We don't have slaves, but there's a lot of not a lot of racial equality in our country. Now, are you going to leave a movement for racial equality in our country and be that Lincoln?
I want to be more like the Lincoln with Matthew McConaughey in the car being very cool. I think that's a better Lincoln. So, no, I don't want to be a Lincoln. I want to be a Trump. And I think we don't need to have racial equality. We need to have people equality.
Can you explain that? What the difference between people equality is and racial equality is?
If some people have more wealth or greater things or do things better, then so be it. The NBA has mostly African Americans. We're okay with that.
That's based on athletic ability. If you are athletic enough and you can shoot a basketball, you can play in the NBA too, Mr. Trump.
Well, Dennis Rodman couldn't even shoot a basketball. He was in the NBA.
That's right. If you can rebound like Dennis Rodman and hit layups like Dennis Rodman and have an attitude like Dennis Rodman.
To be honest, I think I probably could.
So you think you could be in the NBA?
Well, I never tried. Obviously, I was too busy being successful at business. But I think, I have, I'm 6'5", 220. That's sort of a good, and that's at this age. That's at this age. Imagine what I was when I was, 28. And, who was good at basketball? My younger brother, Robert.
Well, he was good at basketball.
Well, anyway, we're talking about Lincoln.
But he's not still good at basketball.
Excuse me, we're talking about Lincoln now. He was a failed president. He didn't do much.
You just said Lincoln was...
And I'm a better Republican and sort of done more for African Americans than he did. These are just facts. You see how I'm not even angry right now? These are just great facts. I'm just going to let the facts speak for themselves. And I'll also speak for them and say that I'm great.
Now, the DNC is starting this week. Now, I need some predictions. Who do you think, the special guests, we saw the Obamas are going to be there. We saw the Clintons are going to be there. We saw Bernie Sanders is going to be there. Do you have any predictions of any special guests who are unannounced or possible musicians coming out to play songs?
Well, I know boring John Legend will be performing. No! So he'll be there doing his God knows what, his version of singing. And he's so weak. Did you know his wife, very annoying woman on Twitter, she got whatever her name is. She got her breasts removed. She got her breast implants taken out. And that's why I know John Legend is so weak. Remember we called him John Not So Legend or John Not a Legend?
Yes.
First of all, he's boring and he sings like he sounds like a ghost.
It's like a seal, kind of.
Well, no, Seal's a good singer.
No, like a seal, like or that kind of animal. That's how it
Kissed
sounded a little
by
bit.
a rose by the grave of Robert Trump. And I have to say that I think that no, Seal was a much better singer than John Legend. And also Seal got Heidi Klum when she was still hot.
You don't
And
think she's hot anymore?
John Legend did the opposite. He got Chrissy Teigen, and she said, she locked him up, and then once they were married and had kids, she pulled a disgraceful move. She did a disappearing act with a big fake tits, and I tell you, that's in my. By the way, that's in my prenup with Melatonin.
I was
I
going to ask
say,
you if
if you
she
get
ever
rid of the
got them.
tits,
Yeah.
bye bye, no money.
So in the prenup, if she got her breast implants removed, then she gets no money if you get
No,
divorced.
not just that. If she doesn't get them augmented every 4 years, she also gets nothing. So
Okay.
she should be at sort of like a triple G cup by the time my second term is over.
When it comes to the DNC this week, do you expect it to outshine the RNC for next week?
No, they can't. They don't have the talent. They don't have the stars. They have boring people. They have John Legend singing. We're going to, you know what we have?
Give us a preview.
I'm giving you a little, this has not been released. Ted Nugent is going to bang a bunch of high school sophomores
At the
while
convention.
while I accept the nomination.
That's pretty wild.
And James Woods is going to join them, and they're going to form. They're calling it the Proud American Eiffel Tower. And in the back, there's going to be a montage of Jeff Epstein and I. And that night, that's going to be Tuesday night, and it's called Protecting Minority Rights. So you're going to have James Woods and Ted Nugent, two of our greatest statutory Americans. They're going to be double teaming a high school sophomore while a montage of the great Jeff Epstein plays in the background. And it's that night to show how great we are with minorities, minors and titties. That's why they combined it to minorities. We're going to show great support. And it's going to be, as you know, what would you rather see? Ted Nugent and James Woods double teaming a girl that's only legal in 4 states?
Okay.
Or Obama speaking and John Legend going, which is really him just showing how weak he is, because any man whose wife locks it up and instead of improving the tits, gets rid of the tits, is not a man I can call a man.
Well, the RNC sounds very exciting. A lot of action going on. I don't know.
That's just night 2. That's just night 2. A
What,
night
night
for
3?
minorities.
What's night 3? Everybody gets Molly in the crowd?
No, it's a night of prayer.
That's,
a lot of religious leaders, and we're going to have deep prayer and commit to faith and our strong religious support. So it goes from James Woods and who did I say? Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent.
Performing great sex acts that are only legal in 4 states. And
you'll be in one of those 4 states, right?
Well, you know what? We're going to do it on the border of one of those states, and we're going to call it barely legal. And, so we'll have that. That's on night. And then we follow that up, of course, with a night of prayer, which is night 3. And night 4, I accept the nomination. I give a great speech. And that night is going to be called Ivanka Come in My Mouth.
It really, that's what that night is called. Can you explain what happens?
Oh, it's a surprise. No, that's not actually the name of the night. That's sort of, you have your codes, behind the scenes. That's the code for it. But no, Ivanka's going to give a great speech. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're saying Ivanka. Ivanka coming from in your mouth, because her speech is going to be.
Ivanka come in your mouth because the speech comes from her mouth, and therefore, it just makes sense. The speech comes from her mouth. Where else would the speech come from?
Exactly.
I understand. I mean, whoever doesn't
Perfect.
understand that, idiot.
Well, there's a lot of stupid people they call Democrats, and there's a lot of perverts out there. No, but it'll be good because Ivanka is going to come out, and I'm impressed. She actually asked that the temperature be turned way down in the room
We're gonna have a
because
repeat.
she wants, she wants to sort of, just have, you know, a man with great posture. It's like a woman with hard nipples is sort of the woman equivalent of great posture. So she wants the cold. Remember the great UN picture. The Patreon people can see the picture on the Ivanka level.
It's a great picture.
Right. So and I think that's the kind of respect that we want our country to have, to say, that's our first daughter, next first lady. That's, you want to see somebody with sort of, if they have terrible nipples, I think that might be why Hillary lost.
I mean, I think if you have bad nipples and the temperature in the room is cold and your bad nipples are shown, you could lose supporters for sure.
I mean, what if you have little itty bitty hairs?
If you have hairy nipples too, that could make you lose voters also.
I mean, I can tell you, you're going to lose Florida right there in the Electoral College.
So what you're telling me is that Hillary's nipples were exposed at one time and they were
I
not
just don't
nice.
know. I don't know, to be honest, but we've heard things. And I know that Ivanka is a lot hotter than Hillary. And I think that's part of what helped us.
Well, Mr. President, I look forward to your reviews of the DNC this week. And I look forward to
Well,
also,
every night we're
yeah,
going to be on this mic. It's going to be a powerful sort of week. It's a week that unfortunately my piggers will get to hear. But I think if they want to be, because we're not denying even the piggers who don't give us reviews on iTunes, they can hear it. But I think everybody should be grateful for this sort of tremendous amount of content we're going to be doing. Nobody's doing content like this.
4 episodes 1 week. And then if you're a Patreon, 5 episodes 1 week.
The least these people can do is give us, it's called a 5-star review on iTunes. It's slowed down. Remember, we made a big, strong campaign, and now it's slowing down. And I
A
think
lot of McPiggers out there.
with a hard R, we want to get to 3,000 ratings. We're at 1,200. Okay, that's a disgrace. I want to get to because 3,000. A K is 1,000.
That's right. So you need
And if
you
we
need
get to
3K.
3,000, we're at KKK. And that's okay by me.
Now, Mr. President, we have 2 more topics tonight. I know it's a busy week for you, preparing for next week. Now,
make them quick because I have to.
I'm going to.
I have a date with my brother Robert's wife.
You plan to drill for oil and gas.
She's single now, by the way. She's single.
Well, she's single because your brother passed away.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Mr. President, you're trying to drill for oil and gas at the Arctic.
Well, that's
National,
one way of putting my date with his wife.
Drilling for oil and gas in the Arctic National.
Well, I don't. Gas is, as you probably know, gas would mean anal. But I'm not. I respect my brother too much to do that. So we're just going to be going the normal sort of traditional way.
That's very nice.
It's in the Bible. You're supposed to marry the brother. In the Bible they talk about when your wife is with you, you marry the brother. So I'm not going to marry her, but I'm going to get biblical with her. Strong Christian.
You're very, very religious. Mr. President,
please don't laugh when we're talking about faith.
I'm sorry.
A very serious topic.
Faith and death. I shouldn't laugh. You're right.
What about death?
You plan on drilling for oil and gas in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Why would you touch that land? Just leave it alone.
I hate refugees so much that when I see refuge, I want to destroy it as well. So it might just be a problem of,
the word refuge. I said, well, you know what? You're too close to refugee. You get drilled.
Okay. That's fair, but I would rethink that. We shouldn't really touch the Arctic.
No, I
Nope.
think we should definitely touch you know how cold it is there? You know how great Ivanka's nipples would look in the Arctic?
So you're taking her on vacation once COVID is over?
She can wear as much warm leggings and a hat that she wants, but she's only allowed one thin layer.
One T-shirt.
Yep. No bra.
Now, Mr. President, I didn't want to upset you for the last topic of tonight.
I don't know why I'd be upset.
Well, I'm sorry to upset you the whole episode, but
I think the listeners would say that you're wrong. I think I've been sort of the opposite of upset. I've been very strong.
well, Miles Taylor, does that name ring a bell?
Sounds like a porn star.
Does a little bit. You're right. Miles Taylor is a former senior Trump administration official.
Oh, sure. Well, we have great talented people.
Yes, he used to work for you, and he doesn't work for you anymore. And now
Oh,
he's
you know what? We have to, I'm sure he's doing well right now. So, you have people. It's tough. It's tough to work for me. Not everybody's got.
he's
what it takes,
endorsing
but-
Biden.
Oh, fuck him.
So everything you were about to say, it just
Well, no, I knew from the beginning. You said Miles.
Taylor.
Okay. Well,
Miles Taylor. Yeah.
Well,
Well.
he's not he was not a talented guy. He was weak. He was weak on Second Amendment, weak on faith, and we had to get rid of him. And I think it's pathetic. And you think Sleepy Joe knows who he is? He'll go, Martin, Twitter. I don't know. Hey, Jack, come on, Jack. That's Joe Biden. That's no. It's a weak. Whoever this is, he was weak and not a good worker, and it doesn't surprise me that he supports Sleepy Joe.
Well, Mr. President, I just want to again send my condolences to you and your family about your brother. I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope you get through this time. So just wanted to say that. And follow us on social media, everyone, at Trump Pod.
You've got to be one of the worst hosts we've ever had.
Well, you didn't respond to me, so I thought you were just
No,
ignoring me.
there's no response. I don't know. Roland will be missed, and but you move on, and I have a date.
Okay.
I'm supposed to watch the DNC tonight with Roberto's ex-wife, I guess they call her widow. Maybe a widow, I think is a word.
It's a widow. Yeah.
I'm going to comfort her, and we'll do it doggy so we can both watch the DNC, and it's called Great Biblical Faith.
Well, so religious and such a gentleman. So
it's sort of, you just have to live that way. It's sort of, you don't separate your faith from your lifestyle. That's what makes me I'd say a great, powerful, and very humble Christian is that I live to the fullest. I live the Christian life to the fullest. And when they say, take your brother's wife if he dies, that's called being a great Christian. And I hope he's looking down with Jeff Epstein and admiring. I get upset. Now I'm upset. I hope, because when I talk about Jeff Epstein, you know how upset that makes me. We lost him too soon.
What do you want him to admire, though?
I hope Jeff Epstein is keeping him company, or at least, used his connections to get him into heaven, because God forbid I don't want him down there with John McCain. Upset. So upset.
Are you saying John McCain's in hell? You take another cheap shot at John McCain, Mr. President?
I don't want Rudolph in hell with John McCain. I want him up in heaven with Jeff Epstein, looking down with great appreciation and strong admiration as I comfort his wife, his newly widowed wife of, it's been 36 hours, so it's sort of legit now. And while I'm plowing her from behind, watching the DNC, just giving it to her with total power and almost contempt, okay, almost just disregard and for her feelings. I hope he looks down and sees that and thinks, I'm so proud that my brother is comforting my wife and, not using a condom because she didn't like those. So I hope he sees that I'm being
biblical.
And, well, not, but making it a closer connection, because I feel like if I use a condom, Ryan might be up in heaven looking down saying,
Robert, yeah.
What, is my wife not good enough for you to go bareback?
Right. I hear you. Be disrespectful.
No, and then the plan is just to be extra Christian and extra Republican to climax as Michelle Obama is speaking tonight. So
good luck.
It's just, it's what you have to do. It's what you have to do if you're going to live a strong and righteous Trump Christian life. And that's what I plan on doing with her tonight. And I hope, I just hope that, my brother Reagan looks down and says, I'm proud of Donald.
Well, that's nice. Well, thank you for listening, everyone.
Because she has his name tattooed.
Yeah, his name is tattooed on the small of her back.
We call it a Trump stamp. And, it'll just, it makes that connection so strong. So, I hope our listeners realize that this is a powerful and strong time that we're going through. And I hope they enjoyed this because, it's about honoring Jeff Epstein and also, my great younger brother,
Robert.
Rafe, my great brother Rafe.
Okay.
Well, we pronounced it Rafe because it's German, but some might see him as Ralph. So Ralph Trump, we miss you and your wife. Your wife won't go a day without that Trump seed, and I think it's
a Trump stamp. Sort of this Trump stamp.
It's a Trump stamp, and it's I didn't want to get upset, but I think I better go. The DNC is about to start, and obviously,
I understand, Mr. President. So.
I've heard his wife has been crying all day because she's, I think it's because she's wondering when I'm going to show up.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Because, like I said, it's been a day and a half, so the morning probably has to be over. So I don't want her to cry too much longer. I need to comfort her. So, I hope people understand that this is, some might view this as he's going to have sex with his brother. No, it's called great faith.
Mr. President, thank you once again. Everyone at home, follow us at Trump Pod, at JL Colvin.
Spread the word. You say
and at JNog, and spread the word. Tell everyone about this podcast. It's going to be a big week. Lots of bonus
big
episodes.
Month, big 2 weeks. Okay, yeah. It's called the big 2 weeks.
Big 2 weeks. Sweeps. You're going to get, if you're a Patreon, 5 episodes this week, 5 episodes next week. It's going to get crazy. So join up, patreon.com/MPGA. And Monday the 31st, bonus episodes. Follow us on social media. You find out everything. And if you're in New York City, Astoria Diner, Bel Air Diner this weekend, Friday, Rich Voss is headlining. So come check that out, belairdiner.nyc at 8 p.m. No, your brother Robert is dead. Rich Voss still alive.
Oh, okay,
barely.
Well. Okay. Is Rich Ross? Is he the rapper, the big rapper?
No, Rich Voss. He's a comedian. But that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This was obviously one of the more powerful episodes I think you've ever heard. And hey guys, it's JL.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed that. Yes, did I feel filthy at times? Of course, but for the most part, it was all a beautiful warped journey to get to Trump's stamp. Which, if somebody wants to submit artwork of Donald Trump looking at the lower back of his brother's widow and having like Trump on, no, I'm kidding. But if you even drew
get right on it,
if you drew a picture of just a lower back with a picture of Trump and sent it to us, like Photoshop a Trump face on a woman's lower back, we'll give you credit and we will retweet it with Trump #Trump stamp.
for sure.
Other than that, though, you don't need to do anything for us. Just spread the word of the show. Thank you for listening. We hope that this gives us some momentum so you can help us do that. As always, we appreciate you at whatever level, free or paid. Just get those reviews in and spread the word this week and next week. So thank you. And God help us all.